Welcome back to 5 Minute Knives, the channel that likes a good dad joke on occasion. Which reminds me, what did the ocean say to the bench? Nothing, just waved. Anyway, I know, it's bad. Today we're going to have a different kind of video. I wanted to have like a discussion video. Occasionally we do pick your 3 favorite knives, or the 3 knives if you had to pick only 3, whatever, something like that. And this is along those lines, but it's not exactly the same thing. So, what we're going to talk about today is how and why I stopped collecting knives, which sounds crazy. I'm a sheath maker, I'm a knife fanatic, and you would think a guy like me, I get a ton of free knives, I would have all sorts of stuff, but I really don't keep them around. And this all started kind of by accident. It was during the pandemic, and money got really tight for us. And things were looking a little grim, so I sold off, I maxed out credit cards at one point, I sold off my silver collection at one point, and then it was down to knives and mechanisms. I sold a few mechanisms, and then it was down to the knives, and then I sold some knives. And right about then, things started getting better for me. The channel started doing better, and more business was coming in for the sheaths, plus I made some moves on my own, and things were okay. But in the process of all that madness and chaos and lockdowns and all that crap, I lost most of my knives. Now since then, a million knives have come through the door. Gifts from subscribers, free knives from manufacturers, you name it. Just affiliate stuff, just people sending me stuff. Happens all the time. I get a lot of flashlights actually, but also a lot of knives too. So you'd think a guy like me saves them up, right? Well, something happened to me during that time where I sold them all. At first, I was so terrified. I didn't want to sell any of my knives. I loved them all so much, I thought. But as I started making decisions and I had to make these tough choices, the decisions became easier and easier. And what eventually ended up happening was, as I got down to just a few knives, the knives that I had left became way more special to me. And I've sort of carried that vibe all the way since. So I occasionally sell them off if my collection gets a little too robust. I keep a few for sheath making. Right now I have the Topps Ice Dagger, the Cold Steel Recon Tonto, SRK, some Essie, stuff like that. That's all in the shop. But when it comes to knives I keep for myself, it's very few. So let me show you the knives that I actually use, and these are the knives that I've kept, and I've kind of whittled it down to these. And I have my reasons, so check it out. So first of all, I have a bunch of these Swiss Army knives in different packs and stuff like that, but as far as knives I use around the house all the time, stuff like that, this one gets the most use. And I'll tell you what it is. It's generally the tweezers. Isn't that funny? But I sometimes use other tools. For example, the Phillips head screwdriver gets used a lot. Occasionally I open stuff with it. That's about it. That's about most of what I use for this. I like how thin it is. And this knife just kind of stays hanging on the wall in my little Spyderco thing. Pocket organizer. And then as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the Endura 4. I don't know what it is about the Endura 4s, but for whatever reason, for many years, I've been stuck on this knife. I've had PM2s, I've had the Manix 2, I've tried Shamans, I've tried a bunch of other knives, but I just keep coming back to the Endura 4. I don't know why. I think it's like the lightweight, I think it's like just ease of use. I like my Enduras with a wave opener on it. You know, I thought of the Indela with the shorter blade. Delica's a little too dainty for me. So with the wave, this does take out some of the, slimline feature, but this is lightning out of my pocket. And as you guys know, I'm a practitioner of the tater digging arts. So for me, this thing out of my pocket is lightning, and it's one of the few blades that I can actually switch to a Steven Seagal and be very comfortable with as well, because the blade's long enough. And the clip indexes with this finger for me in the dark. So I have full command of this. This knife is my EDC, obviously. K390 steel. I dyed the handle black for work. You guys know I do private security. I have my own company now. But for whatever reason, when it comes to folding knives, it just never got any better for me than the Endura 4. I know it's kind of boring, but this is what I carry. And this is what I kept for my folding knife. So I have this. Now, concerning other folding knives, I do have 2 that I have to make a tough choice between. And it's kind of weird. this is a really weird decision to make. Okay, first of all, I have the Boker Hell Karambit here, which I absolutely love. This knife has been amazing. And I did get it with the red liner and ring. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, why would you do such a thing that'll stand out? I just thought it looked really cool. I do wear this knife on occasion. I almost don't mind that attention is drawn to the ring. It's kind of like when you open carry a mechanism. You sort of don't care who sees it that time. You're in that, you sort of switch to that mindset, right? But I'm considering this one, keeping this one, or different caliber knife right here, way different price point, automatic, 4-inch blade, ProTech Godfather, and this is in the stunning OD green and black coloration. Actually, I don't even know if that's OD, it's just a darker green. I don't know if my lighting is doing it justice, but this is a gorgeous knife. The problem with this blade is I can't carry this in Colorado. I can carry an automatic, not a 4-inch blade like that. So as much as I love this knife, it doesn't serve a practical purpose for me. So I haven't really been able to carry it as much as I want, so it's still in mint condition. I'm considering selling this to one of you guys if you want it, and keeping this Boker Hell Karambit as my tater digging around town. Totally legal, and every bit as lethal, if not more, than the ProTech. So I think I'm going to keep that one. This one I believe is going for sale for you guys if any of you want it. Then finally we get into the fixed blades. I have the Tops Ice Dagger in the shop to make a sheath. Sometimes I carry that, or I'll put it on the front of my Hill People Gear chest rig. So I've kept that. And then this one has replaced my SE6. And right now it's wearing the factory micarta flat handle scales. But I plan on replacing this setup with the handle scales from the Knife Connection. The 3D Contour G10 ones. They add a bit of weight, but I really like the way it feels with this knife. This is the SE CM6. And I kept this knife because, again, I lean more towards the tater digging arts, and this is a little bit better for tater digging than the SE6. It moves better in my hand. I have a false swedge here on the top, easier for poking a tater, and I can do all the same bushcrafty stuff. Plus, one of the weird things I love about this knife that might surprise you is that it has no jimping on the spine. I actually love that. And there's a lot of reasons I prefer no jimping sometimes. One of them is it's a flat spine, so it's not hard for me to get a purchase and go to work without jimping. The other one is for sheath making. It makes the draw and resheath so smooth, so much smoother than the SE6 was. Plus the SE6 had a tall blade, it was a flat grind. I like the saber of this one better for bushcrafting. Same 1095 steel, same Rowan heat treat. I just have come to really love the CM6 over the SE6, believe it or not. And my SE6 was all decked out in those Knife Connection handle scales. But I don't know, this was the fixed blade I went with. I can do all my close work with it, I'm fine. I'm not much of a bushcrafter, but I could build shelter with this. I could do a lot of stuff with this. I can baton with it, even though this swedge is going to beat up my baton stick. I really won't care while I'm doing it. I tried to justify, like, all the reasons I had the SE6, like, the CM6 will do all the same stuff. The only difference is I can dig a tater a little easier with this one. So this became my fixed blade for now that I kept. And I do have one other fixed blade. This is my Bedside. This is my Kislyor Supreme Sensei? I think this is the Sensei. But this is a 9-inch blade. And I made this awesome green and purple sheath, the carbon fiber accents. And I wrapped the handle with paracord and solidified it with a wood lacquer. So here's that. It's just a brutal strudel, this guy. Yeah. And this is the Kislyor Supreme, made in Russia. And this is my Bedside tater digger, and I use this for snap cuts. And I find that, for me to be in a tater digging situation in the dark, throwing out those snap cuts in the dark would really be upsetting to the recipient. So I feel very confident with this at my bedside. I got rid of that sword. I had that APOC custom Wakazashi. I got rid of that. It was just a little too big and unwieldy for me to grab in the dark if a tater broke in. This is perfect for me. So this is Bedside, and this comes out like lightning. I keep a mechanism there with a light on it. So between the two, I'm all set up. So really, minus the Tops Ice Dagger and this Protect Godfather that I want to sell, I think. This is my current lineup, and this is what I've kept. It sounds crazy, but it's true. This is what I've kept. And you guys are going to think this is nuts, but there's something to be said about whittling your collection down. Now, business-wise, it behooves me not to push you in that direction. Collect fixed blades and buy sheaths for all of them. Email me at dragonscalejoe@gmail.com if you need a sheath. Obviously, it's good for business. That being said, just as like a knife guy, this brings back the magic for me. You know, when I was a little kid, I still remember the first knife I ever found or held. It was an old buck folding knife, and you would have thought that I located Excalibur. There was something about that. I'd open it up and boom. And then my first fixed blade was a K-bar. And I love that knife dearly. And I don't know what it was, but carrying those knives or having those knives just made me so happy. I was bit by the bug at an early age. You know, I was born in a city, and then I was moved to a farm when I was about 10. And life on the farm, it's good to have a knife. And I learned that very quickly. We did a lot of hay baling and things like that. But there's just something about a knife that I've always found to be really magical. As my collection grew, I mean, at one point I had hundreds and hundreds of knives. It sort of diminished how I felt about each one. There was little nitpicks that I had about each one. With a tiny collection like this, I find that I work around those nitpicks and I don't mind at all. These are tools and I'm very proud to own them. I don't know what it is, but I like bringing my collection down to a small, usable size. So basically, as knives come in, I might cycle this out for another tater digging implement that's legal in my area that I like a little better. For right now, it's the Boker Hell Karambit. I love it, and it's not too expensive to replace. For a EDC folding knife, I just have never been able to beat the Endura 4. I don't know what will. And with the wave opening feature, it's as fast as any auto. You know, it's perfect. Thin, 4 ounces. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, everybody was saying this was the EDC king, and for me, it still is. Old school. Swiss Army. You know? Just using the tweezers and the Phillips head mainly, opening boxes on occasion. I keep it simple, folks, but it makes me love all these tools. So, I guess in the comments, if you had to whittle it down, let me know what 4 or 5 knives you might keep and you know, and why, I guess, because I'm just curious for your feedback, because you guys always have, you know, really good insight as to this stuff. Do you think I'm crazy for whittling it down to this? But I just know my collection's gonna stack up again instantly, like with the channel, the sheath making, all this stuff. The knives come in so fast. I'll get 3 or 4 a month that I get to keep, you know, and I try to just, you know, keep it simple. And if I don't have an immediate use for a knife, it's gotta go. The one I've kept the longest is this Protect Godfather because I think it's so damn cool. This one I actually just own because I love. There's no other real overarching reason. It's just like a beautiful, amazing looking knife, and my Italian side really wants some sort of stiletto automatic switchbladey thing. And this is like a modernized version of that, you know? I don't know what's going on with my focus, but bear with me, guys. Anyway, you get the point. If anybody wants this one, let me know, because I have a mind to get rid of it. I have no immediate use for it. Now, rule of law breaks down or something like that, then yeah, I will have a use for this. That being said, there's other implements in this size range, even in auto, that I could use a little better with, you know, better handle texture, stuff like that. You know, there's other stuff I could use a little better than this. This is just so gorgeous to me that I love owning it. And there is texture on this handle. It's not slippery. It's just, what am I going to use this for? And I haven't found a good use for it yet, so it sits in the box and I've never used it. So that's why I'm thinking about selling it to you guys. But other than that, this is my current lineup. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your current lineup would be if you had to whittle it down to 6 or less knives. And that's it. I just wanted to have a conversation with you guys today. Do something a little bit different. And kind of talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately, because I've just been getting rid of knives left and right. And now I'm down to just the knives I make sheaths for. And these are the ones I use in my daily life. I have other ones in packs and stuff like that. I have the Line Steel T5, but I'm mainly just making sheaths out of that. So, gift from Caleb. Thank you, buddy. He also gifted me this CM6, our viewer from New Zealand. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. And just wanted to ramble at you for a little while. That's it for me, and I will see you guys next time on 5 Minute Knives.